The city of Bangor, Pennsylvania has decided to fine landlords $1,000 if their tenants are disruptive. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting topic for you today, and it's coming out of Pennsylvania, and it's coming from a town called Bangor. Now, the only Bangor I knew before I read this article was Bangor, Maine. This is not the place. This is actually in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, a town called Bangor, okay? And they're trying to come up with an ordinance that says that if a tenant is cited or arrested for causing a disruption, well, guess what? They can penalize the landlord for that. Now, this is something they call like an anti-crime initiative. And I've heard about these sort of laws being passed all throughout the country. And a lot of them are being overturned lately because they find that landlords tend to evict people due to these issues. And then they're saying, okay, well, it's not right that these people are getting evicted without any sort of, other problem. I mean, there's all sorts of constitutional issues that they claim. Now, I don't know. I don't have any sort of preference towards these laws or against these sort of laws. I'm just telling you what's going on with this city. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So first of all, do your rental properties, does the city that they are in, do they have any of these sort of anti-crime laws where they say that, the landlord is responsible if the tenant is causing any sort of problems? Now, their logic is that the landlord is doing tenant screening and they are allowing these disruptive criminals up into their properties, causing all sorts of problems. Now, I disagree with that for a number of reasons. The biggest reason being that even criminals, bad people, they need somewhere to live. So if no landlords are willing to rent to them, then we got a sort of a problem, right? But the other issue I have is that a person who actually causes the crime should be held responsible for it, not the landlord. It is not the landlord's responsibility to make sure that their tenants aren't causing problems. It is that person's individual responsibility, personal responsibility. Now, I know that tons of 911 calls and a lot of officer presence in a unit can seem like, okay, well, somebody's got to pay for this. Somebody's got to pay for this. Well, make the person who is doing it pay for it. Lock them up, throw away the key if they're that big of a problem, or fine them personally. But saying, hey, we're going to go after the landlord because we know the landlord has money, that's a bunch of garbage. Now, I do agree, landlords shouldn't put garbage tenants up in their units. But as I said before, you know what? It's our right to put whatever tenants we want in our units. We just maintain the property. And telling us that, hey, well, it's your fault for renting to this person. I don't even know the mindset of my tenants the day that I rent to them. Now, I'm hoping, based on all the evidence, they're a good tenant. But a lot of the times, it could turn out that they're not. And why should I be the one paying the fine, based on their actions? Anyway, let me get into the article, and I'll tell you what it says about the whole situation. This article is coming from LehighValleyLive.com, and it says, Bangor clamps down on landlords of disruptive tenants. Let's get into it. Bangor is increasing fines to rental unit owners for disruptive behavior by their renters. Bangor Borough Council voted unanimously Monday, November 25th, to adopt an ordinance that updates the borough's residential rental unit and landlord registration ordinance. Under the new ordinance, any landlord or owner of a residential unit that is cited for disruptive conduct will be fined $1,000 for the first violation, $1,500 for the second violation, and $2,000 for the third violation. The previous ordinance capped violations at $1,000. So let me throw out a nice comparison here. Let's say that you are a person who rented a car, right? And you decide to go rob a bank in the rented car. And you rob a bank, just steal all that money, and then the city comes after you, the rental car company. Well, why did you rent to these bank robbers? We're going to fine you, the rental car company, because these people over here robbed a bank in your car. Now, that sounds dumb, right? Well, this sort of ordinance sounds just as dumb to me, and that's why I'm 100% opposed to it. These people, you know what? They have no common sense. Now, they're saying, oh, like we purposefully rented to thugs and criminals. No, a lot of the times, and this is what I've told people many times, thugs and criminals, they're not even on the lease, okay? They're going to go live with their baby mama, or they're going to live with their actual mama. And the mama, you know, good person, able to pass the credit check, background check, no issues. And then their thug son who just got out of prison decides to move in there and start causing all sorts of problems. And guess what? Now, landlords getting fined thousands of dollars by the city for somebody who isn't even on the lease. This is the kind of garbage that I absolutely hate. This is the sort of bureaucracy that causes people not to even want to be landlords. And then they sit there and they question, well, why does nobody want to be a landlord? Why is there a shortage of housing? Well, because of the stupid ordinances you pass. Oh, goodness. You know what? This sort of topic, it absolutely frustrates me. Violations to landlords can result from disruptive behavior by the occupants and visitors to the property. The new ordinance also requires landlords to file updated occupant listings by March 31st and October 31st of each year, in addition to the annual rental registration that needs to be completed by June 30th. So, visitors of the property. So if somebody that not on anybody's lease decides to drive through there and then, you know, shoot the place up, guess what? That's your fault now, landlord. You know what? You shouldn't have allowed them in. You know what? You should have gone out there to the parking lot and confronted them yourself. You know, like, no, get out of here, man. I know y'all are gang members. Get on out of here. They're going to find me. Otherwise, like, no, we're not going to do the police force action for you, okay? That is the reason we pay taxes, so that you can handle the issue. Simply put, this is idiotic. This is absolutely idiotic, okay? And I'm getting heated because, you know what? Landlords, we get treated like we are the cause of these problems. Okay? We are renting a property. We don't encourage people to commit crime. We don't have anything to do with the crime. We're running a lawful business. And if some of our customers are scumbags, then guess what? They got to be taken care of. And those people would have been scumbags regardless of if they were living in my property or if they were living on a street corner. They would have still been committing crimes. So why are you fining me? That's the question. Unless you want me to take personal action. So here's my sort of personal action. I carry a firearm. Okay, if anybody's causing any sort of problems, you want me to shoot them? Is that what you want? I mean, for real. What do they expect the landlord to do? Not let visitors into their property? Not know every single person who is in the property at all times? I mean, you know, like have a key card entrance and then do a background check on anybody coming in, metal detectors just to get into the property. No, that's ridiculous. It's stupid. And this law is stupid. And you know what? I can see why a lot of these laws are getting thrown out. Because the landlord now feels obligated to, if there's any sort of issues with any tenant, regardless of what the tenant has done, if they're paying rent or anything, now they feel obligated to get rid of that tenant because they feel they're going to face the consequences, lose thousands of dollars from the city. So yeah, a lot of these laws are going to get thrown out, but until then, the landlord, you know, pays the price. In recent years, many formerly private homes have been turned into residential rental units, the ordinance says. Those rental units have oftentimes been rented to individuals because they have no ownership interest in the property, have allowed properties to deteriorate. Disruptive conduct is defined in the ordinance as behavior by any occupant or visitor of a residential unit that is loud, untimely, offensive, riotous, or otherwise disturbs other persons or a reasonable sensibility in their peaceful enjoyment of their premises or causes damage to their premises. Now, think about that for a second. Loud, okay? So it could be something that's not even a very serious criminal thing, right? So imagine you have a tenant who has a loud car stereo and likes to go boom, 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 boom. I was a teenager once. I did it too. So, you know, you can say whatever, but going after the landlord because your tenant has a loud car stereo is dumb. Okay, finding the landlord $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever this law says because your tenant has a loud car stereo. Go find the tenant. Gee, go find the person. Punish the person who is committing the crime. If there's somebody being disruptive, it's not the landlord. I'm sitting at home, sleep in bed, quiet as a mouse, and you come knocking on my door. Hey, your property, somebody at your property is being too loud. And I'm like, well, is it my tenant? No, it was a visitor. One of your tenant's visitors. And I'm like, what does that have to do with me? Well, here's your $1,000 ticket. Anyway, tell me what you think of this whole situation and leave a comment in the comment section down below.